Well, Carlos Alcaraz has done it. I'm a little late getting this reaction video into you guys after Carlos Alcaraz takes out Djokovic to back up his win over Nadal in Madrid. That was the question. Could he do the double? And oh my, did he do it? Becoming the first player in clay history to beat Rafa and Djokovic in the same tournament. Now all he has to do is win the tournament, but he's playing Zverev here in a couple of hours. But let me get to a few points on why I feel Alcaraz was able to beat Djokovic at this early stage in his career at such a big point in a tournament. Unbelievable performance from Alcaraz yesterday, and he comes through in an epic three-set match of the year, no doubt so far for three-set matches. So let's get into why Carlos won and some really interesting things that I saw happen between the Djokovic, Carlos, Alcaraz dynamic. Here's the slice.
Welcome to the slice.
Well, I'm back in Switzerland, people, after being in Rome for a couple days. Last night, I found an English pub to watch the Madrid final in. So, truly, again, the international sport. But I'm stunned and remembering and piecing together all the action I saw last night in the match, Djokovic versus Alcaraz. Honestly, the dynamic coming in was very interesting because you have Djokovic trying to get better. But from the way he had been playing through Madrid, it looks like he was getting back in action to the way he wants to be playing. And then you got Carlos Alcaraz just ascending to the top of men's tennis faster than we've seen in a super long time, taking Nadal out. And then can he do it again against Djokovic, who's playing very Djokovic-esque like now? That was the big question. So I saw a lot of things in the match. I saw Djokovic adapting his game very interestingly to the Alcaraz challenge. The main thing I saw was Djokovic ramping up his forehand speed. In the first set, he hit his forehand about 8 kilometers an hour faster than, miles an hour faster than Carlos did. When, you also think Carlos has like one of the biggest forehands on tour. Djokovic, I think, went offense hardcore and tried to fastball him to like take away the Carlos playing off his front foot, because obviously Djokovic at 34 doesn't want to be just getting ragdolled around the court. And that worked very well because it made Carlos late, I felt, on a lot of shots, and it rushed him a bit and made him overplay when he got a sitter. So we saw some kind of like uncharacteristic misses from Carlos, and that's totally the Djokovic effect. So that was a super interesting adjustment from Djokovic. And then as the match went on, it was kind of up and down from either guy. I wouldn't say it's like the highest level match ever, because I don't think Carlos was really totally fully on his game. That's a large part due to Djokovic. And we know that Djokovic wasn't fully at his best either, because he's still getting back into things. But they were both pretty close, and it was just an absolute battle. And it could have gone either way. Obviously, third set tiebreaker, duh. But I did feel by the third set, Carlos had pulled into the driver's seat a bit, and he had, I think, break points in almost every Djokovic service game in the third set, and he kept not being able to convert. And then, amazingly, what I kept saying was, I can't believe Carlos keeps missing all these break point opportunities and then not getting broken the next game, because you see that so often in tennis. So he doesn't end up getting broken in the third set. It goes to a tiebreaker, and then Carlos wins in the tiebreaker, which Djokovic has so classically been dominant in. So much happened. I'm going to give a quick overview of the main 3 things I'm impressed with Carlos's game by, and I think the reasons he kind of was able to really ball with Djokovic, and then I guess it just fell Carlos's way when it definitely could have gone the way of Djokovic. Before we get into that quickly, shout out to Go Sport, our bag sponsor. Kept me while I was in Rome running around the tournament for a few days, pre-tournament, with my Go Sport bag. I was able to carry all my camera gear, get things done with that. So join Eurosport to get behind the scenes from Rome. But shout out to Go Sport, 10% off any of the bags on their site, link below. Subscribe. Thank you guys for supporting my work here. It's exhausting, long travel day today to get back, but oh my, was that not fun watching in Rome, in Madrid. Okay, main 3 things that I was impressed with Carlos Alcaraz. Number 1, his all-court game. Djokovic, I've seen him struggle with players that play a similar way to him and have similar game styles. It's the same thing. Carlos, I think, in general has a pretty similar game style because they're all court player, have just a very similar lack of weaknesses. Carlos' backhand is amazing. His forehand's amazing. His serve's great. His movement is the biggest thing that's similar because they're both able to defend so well, elastic, like they're both so fast. And Carlos matching that up to Djokovic, it felt like Djokovic didn't have as many places to go, and he couldn't make Carlos as uncomfortable by just moving him because Carlos's movement is so elite. So like I said earlier, I think Djokovic's fastballing technique off the forehand, hitting it huge, hitting it very well, was actually a way that he made Carlos uncomfortable by the pace that he was receiving, and that's why we saw more errors, like I said, from Carlos. But just the all-court game that Carlos was able to play really matched up well with the Djokovic. Whether Djokovic was on offense, then Carlos could defend. And if Carlos was on offense, his offense could really poke holes in the Djokovic defense, as we saw, because the amount of power that he has. So the all-court game, I felt like by the end of that match, it felt like Carlos was in the driver's seat in most rallies when they got past 2 or 3 shots. When they were in rallies, it felt like Carlos was able to push Djokovic around, and Djokovic wasn't doing the pushing around anymore by the end. So the all-court game of Carlos is huge and is so solid, and it's just so insane that at 19 years old, he has that rounded of the game. We've talked about it lots before. The second big thing was serving. Well, Carlos didn't blow Djokovic off the court with serving at all. He didn't. He hit how many aces here? 4 aces, 4 double faults. He won more first serves than Djokovic, 74% first serves won. And the one big serve that I noticed, and Djokovic talked about after the match, was the kick serve on the ad side. So to Djokovic's backhand, outside off the court, he was hitting it so well and it was kicking up so high that Djokovic missed a lot of first serve returns and second serve returns on that kind of kick serve. And that frustrated Djokovic, and that saved Carlos in a couple of big moments in the third set when he also faced break points and had to get out of it. So Djokovic couldn't figure that out, and that's weird to see when you see the best returner of all time not being able to figure out how to return one kind of specific serve from Carlos. So the serving was intense. It was also intense for Djokovic because his serve kept him in the match in the third set as well. There was one point where the crowd took a long time to settle down, and then Djokovic had to wait. It was, I think, match point, and then Djokovic just smashes an ace in classic Djokovic style. So the serving from Djokovic was great, kept him in it in the third because Carlos was winning the rallies. But the Carlos serve was a weapon, and it's understated, and it can also get better and bigger, I think. So it's amazing that he was able to use that serve to save him and to really kind of throw in curveballs that Djokovic couldn't figure out. So that's one other way. And the third way is the most obvious one to me. It's not even a full strategy. It's not even a full part of a game plan that you normally talk about, but drop shots. Carlos Alcaraz's drop shots I think they're the best I've ever seen. Like, Djokovic has a pretty good drop shot. Federer has unbelievable drop shots. But I've never seen anyone, I think, use them so automatically like Carlos to win points. Like, I don't know how many drop shots he attempted last night. Maybe 20, I'm just pulling off the top of my head. And I think he won 15 of them with, clean winners. I tweeted out, I said, imagine being able to just pull out a shot in tennis anytime you wanted that was just a clean winner. And that's the drop shot for Carlos. But the crazy thing is he's doing it against Djokovic, who's very good at anticipating these things and also insane at running them down and doing something with it. Most Djokovic couldn't even touch, and he was trying to run them down. So the ability for Carlos to disguise that shot and execute it without missing, I think he missed 1 or 2. He maybe missed 1 or 2 drop shots, and then there was 1 or 2 bad ones that Djokovic got too easily. But the rest were automatic winners, and it was unbelievable and that just threw Djokovic off sometimes because he'd be waiting for Carlos to hit a shot, and he's like, is this going cross court down the line? That's a huge forehand either way, or is it a drop shot? And he's just a little bit of disturbance in Djokovic's anticipation gave Carlos an edge that was really, really, really impressive to see. So there's no these are the 3 ways, that's why he dominated Djokovic. No, that's the reason he was able to play with Djokovic when Djokovic was playing at a pretty decent level and make it to go to the third set tiebreaker and then fall either way. Just massively impressive for Carlos Alcaraz. Can't say enough about the kid. We haven't seen a climb like this since Djokovic, since Nadal, since Federer climbed. the rankings. We have not seen a player like this come out and dominate in the way that he's doing it. He's literally probably the best player of 2020 right now. Outside of, it's hard to say it with Nadal winning the Australian Open, but we've only had one. And now going to the French Open, people are getting really crazily excited about Carlos Alcaraz and the possibilities of him at the Slams. Still's got to prove it in 5 sets, but that's just so impressive last night, taking out Djokovic after already taking out Nadal. So we'll see what he could do. He could easily lose to Zverev. He could also beat Zverev. So if he could win his second Masters of the year already, just crazy, people. Just crazy. So those are my thoughts quickly on Carlos taking out Djokovic. What do you guys think? Let me know below. And thank you for watching The Slice and getting plugged into all the stuff that we do here on our channel, our Instagram, and our website. Check out all those links below. And thanks for being here.